My name is Gay Logan, and this afternoon we're going to be working together and talking about the issues of trauma. We're looking at it from an attachment perspective, from an interpersonal neurobiology perspective, from the efficacy of treatment, and also from the notion of secondary post-traumatic trauma, the impact on the caregiver of working with highly traumatized populations. To begin now, I'd like for everyone to take a moment and really bring your attention together, and I'm going to lead a very short meditation so that you can bring your attention really fully into the room, into the moment. It's a much better way for learning and calming yourself so that you can learn. We'll be learning a lot about the importance of calming in working with trauma. So let's take a moment and get yourself comfortable in your chair, feeling your feet firmly planted on the ground, deepening your inhale and your exhale. And I'm going to ring this bell 3 times. Just allow the sound of the bell to bring you to a quiet place inside. It's as if you're allowing the arc of the sound and then the sound stopping to bring you quieter and quieter inside so you can find a peaceful, quiet place for us to work together today. And as the sound slowly dissolves, bring your attention to your breath, to this in-breath, to this out-breath. Slowly bringing your attention further down into your belly, into your feet, really feeling the contours of the chair on the backs of your thighs, your pelvis. Feeling the chair supporting your back, your hands on your thighs. Softening all the tiny muscles in your face, behind the eyebrows, around the mouth, the jaw, even behind the ears. Inhaling and exhaling, and just coming to this moment. This quiet moment where you feel even and flexible, rooted and open. And with this quality of attention, I invite you to bring yourself into the rest of our exploration today, to look at trauma and to understand it more deeply from a quiet place inside. My name is Gay Logan, and I'm a psychotherapist in Austin, Texas. I'm also a fellow with the organization Psychology Beyond Borders, an organization who focuses on best practice research in the field of trauma and looking at it within a global context around issues of armed conflict, terror, and looking at not only research in trauma itself, best practices, but also public policy in terms of prevention. My history with working with trauma has been a long career. I've worked for about 30 years in the field. started in the late 70s, running a Vietnam vet, a Tet Offensive Vietnam vet psychotherapy group. My co-therapist was a long-range reconnaissance patrol soldier, and we ran a 2-year therapy group. I also worked in a pilot project in Northern California with Cambodian refugees from the Pol Pot regime. That was in the late 70s and the early 80s. And since then I've done lots of work with the framework of episodic trauma, catastrophic trauma, whether it's natural disaster or political asylum seeking issues, refugee issues, dislocated homeland issues. I worked helping a wonderful group in Sri Lanka, Sarvodaya, and in connection with an organization in New York, the Heart Circle Sangha, put together a wonderful training program for survivors of the tsunami in Sri Lanka. That particular program lasted about 2 years, a year and a half, and we went in teams of 2 into training essentially the counselors, 27 counselors more or less, that went into the relocation villages. I also was honored to be part of a project here in Austin called the Sunrise Center, and we created a mental health clinic for refugees, political asylum seekers, and immigrants. My current project will be with Psychology Beyond Borders, and it looks like we're going to Dharamsala, to the community of the Dalai Lama at Christmas time, and do some reconnaissance work about training people to help work with the incoming Tibetan refugees who've been tortured by the Chinese for the crime of having a picture of the Dalai Lama in their pocket. Psychology Beyond Borders has done a lot of work in the field, in Congo, in Ethiopia, in Israel, Palestine, in London, after the subway bombings. And our current director actually was in charge of running social services in New York City after 9/11. I'm also happy to be a consultant with the Texas After Violence Project, and very meaningful work with death row inmates and their families, and the legal support that works with that issue, a very traumatic issue. So through this whole journey, this arc of a narrative, of a coherent narrative, if you want to say so, there's been a spiritual process for me of looking at my own response in terms of the cultivation of compassion, and also my own self-care. It's really important, I think, for any of us in the trauma field to be very mindful of how we care for ourselves. So we're going to be addressing some of that today.